Hello, my name is Gloria Jimenez, and I'm the Executive Director for the Indiana Latino Expo. We have a new TV show on Telemundo in Spanish every Saturday at 11 a.m. Also, I'm a multicultural contributor for Wish TV, and we are celebrating the Hispanic Heritage Month with them as well. I'm originally from Peru and moved to the United States 18 years ago. Peru is one of the most visited destinations by foreign tourists, as if not only has archaeological wealth and monuments, but also a rich culture, beautiful tourist cities that combine the coast, the highlands, and jungle. The Peruvian cuisine is well known worldwide. Are you familiar with Machu Picchu in Cusco, the Inca Trail, ceviche, llamas and alpacas that are very trendy in weddings? Well, all that is from Peru. A whole month of celebrating Latinos' contributions to our great country actually is not a month. It's from September 15 through October 15, but that's cool, because Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua celebrate their independence in September 15. Mexico starts their independence on September 15, and the main day in September 16, not El Cinco de Mayo. Chile and Belize celebrates their independence in late September, so why just don't make it September and October the Hispanic Heritage Month? It's not entirely clear. It started as a week with Lyndon Johnson, signed up on a legislation to making it official, and then when it became a month under Reagan, I guess they didn't think a single month will be good. They knew Latinos like to celebrate. But don't worry, this is not one of the less confusing aspects of being Latino. Remember when I said that Hispanic Heritage Month was to celebrate Latinos? Well, like kind of. See, Hispanics denotes people that come from a Spanish-speaking culture, while Latinos encompasses people of Latin America, descendants who lived in the US. So not all Hispanics are Latinos, not all Latinos are Hispanics, and a Mexican who lives in Brazil is neither. But if they have a Spanish-speaking child that immigrated to the United States, that person would be both. Easy peasy, don't call people Hispanic that speak Portuguese. But wait, there's more. That's the most accepted widely version because it can also be a matter of regions. See, the East Coast, they use the term Hispanic more often, while the West uses Latino. Some argue the best way to refer to us by the family place country of origin - America, but not everyone agree, because if it is someone like my nephew, he is Peruvian - Venezuelan - American, so it's probably easier if I call him Hispanic or Latino. Whatever it is at his friends will remember at this point, that is fine. That's why academics also have debated as the appropriateness of the term, because they were invented mostly as a way to simplify the categorize and the large diverse group of people. Latinx addendum in the United States, the first use of Latinx appeared more than a decade ago. Young Hispanics aged 18 to 29 are among the most likely to have heard of the term. Since the Latinx addendum is in Google, I'm sure that most of you are aware of the term Latinx, which was a term that appeared or originated online with the intent of using for people that don't identify with gender binder, which is good because inclusion is good, but it's also bad because it's anglicized in Spanish. So X in Spanish pronounces with an English H, sounds like house, Oaxaca, or with a K, S sound like in English fix. But in English, it can also be pronounced as a Z, like the first X in xylophone. So is it Latinx, like my mom says it, or Latin G, or Latin Z? The emergence of Latinx coincides with a global movement to introduce gender-neutral nouns and pronouns into many languages whose grammar has traditionally used male or female constructions. Intricacy of ethnicities, a lot of Hispanics or Latinos are considered white if you're a strictly European descendant, but when the Spanish and Portuguese colonized us, the Americas, they didn't have hard or fast rules about what was acceptable to marry or otherwise make babies. Part of the reason for the first nationality could be of the fact that the media and many people treat Hispanic or Latino as a separate ethnicity entirely. Surprise! That is wrong and right again. Hooray for clarity. Well, because of restrictions, most Latinos have some mulatto, European, mestizo, European and native, and African or other combination in the ancestry, which of course it was used to the caste system where whiter people were given preference in treatment. So while Hispanics and Latino has often considered a kind of white, and many Latinos will prefer because of the historical treatment of non-whites, really we are mixed more often than that. As confusing as this all is, there's some more recognition, even though immigration is likely one of the first things that come up when Latinos are mentioned. We've been a part of the US for just as long as most Anglo-Americans, longer in many cases. Let's look at the map of North America during colonization. See, that section was part of the United States? Yep. Spanish colonies, and that includes 3 of the 4 of the most populated states, California, Texas, and Florida. This territory was either sold or conquered during various conflicts. Latinos led groundwork for much what became the Western United States, and losing origin subset the segment of the population talking about their heritage and pride all the time. So it feels weird to say the least when the same people to feel like outsiders so often. So what did this all mean? I'm not sure really. Sometimes it's very confusing. Confusion is part of many of our identity. While I recognize how fortunate I am that my family worked hard to be here, I wouldn't give up my culture. If that means if you don't get called back for job interviews as often, even though we are the largest minority group in the United States, but still the most underrepresented in some professions. And even though it can be lonely by the feeling of no soy de aquí ni soy de allá, that means being a child of immigrants, an American culture. And I love my mixed-up family. The years of celebrating Christmas Eve with turkey and not for Thanksgiving, the fact that I'm raising my daughter speaking Spanish and English, because that makes it easier for her to speak to my parents, her abuelita and abuelito, which my mom doesn't like being called abuelita. She prefers mami, but I'm her mom. The idea that my pursuit of the American dream is built on a foundation of hard work that my parents laid since I have memories living in Peru. The fact that I'm mestiza, Hispanic, Latina, Peruvian, American is confusing and beautiful to me. So for this Hispanic Heritage Month, go talk to your Latino, Hispanic, mixed up, whatever American friends. Sit down to a meal with them because each of their stories is as weird and unique as mine. And even if you can't even entirely relate, you're at least gonna get some love, good laugh, maybe music, and for sure some really good food. For Hispanics in the United States, the educational experience is one of accumulated disadvantage. Many Hispanic students begin formalized schooling without the economic and social resources that many other students receive, and schools are often ill-equipped to compensate for these initial disparities. For Hispanics, initial disadvantage often stem from parents' immigrant and socioeconomic status and their lack of knowledge about the US education system. Today, most parents and their children believe that a college degree is necessary for obtaining stable and meaningful. This attitude is reflected in the educational expectations parents hold for their children and the expectations that young people have for themselves. High educational expectations can be found among all racial and ethnic groups regardless of their economic and social resources. Although parents and children share high educational aims, their aspirations do not necessarily translate into post-secondary matriculations. This is especially the case for Hispanic high school students, particularly those whose parents have not attended college. Hispanics' low income and occupational characteristics are associated with low rates of health insurance coverage. Lacking health insurance makes the cost of healthcare services prohibitive for many people and is the most important barrier to adequate healthcare access. Specific features of the Hispanic population that affects their access to healthcare includes degree of acculturation, language, and immigration status. More than 2/5 of Hispanics in the United States are foreign-born, and many are recent immigrants who retain their cultural beliefs and behaviors regarding health and healthcare. Most foreign-born Hispanics primarily speak Spanish, and fewer than 1/4 report speaking English very well. Indiana has a small but growing community of immigrants, around 450,000 Latinos and Hispanics, many of whom hail from Mexico. The Mexican population in Indiana is 295,000. The Consulate of Mexico serves around 80,000 from central Indiana, from Kokomo to the south, plus cities in Dayton, Ohio, Lexington, Kentucky, Columbus, Ohio. After Mexico is Puerto Rico, with 47,000 Puerto Ricans. Remember, Puerto Ricans are Americans, Latinos, and Hispanics. Oh, and Caribbeans. Guatemala, 12,000, and after that, I really don't know. While 1 in 20 states residents was born in another country, foreign-born Hoosiers make up a vital, educated share of Indiana's labor force. Over 1/3 of immigrants in Indiana possesses a college or higher degree, while more than 4/5 report speaking English well. Immigrants support the state's economy in many ways, accounting for 7% of business owners in Indiana and 13% of all computer and math employees. As neighbors, business owners, taxpayers, and workers, immigrants are an integral part of Indiana's diverse and thriving communities and make an extensive contribution that benefit all. What is DACA? DACA is a policy fought for by immigrant youth and created by the Obama administration in 2012 to protect certain undocumented individuals who came to the United States as children from deportation. In addition to protection from deportation, DACA recipients are eligible for work authorization, a social security number, and a state-issue identification or a driver's license. DACA does not grant lawful status such as a visa or green card, nor does it or a pathway to U.S. citizenship. Prior to the July 2020 memorandum, DACA was granted for a 2-year period, which recipients could renew, and there are approximately 645,000 current DACA recipients. Approximately 8,870 active DACA recipients in Indiana. DACA remains available to individuals who have previously been granted DACA. This means it is a program for people who currently have DACA, had DACA at some point in the past, or had their DACA terminated. These individuals can submit a DACA renewal request under the July 2020 memorandum. DACA will only be renewed for a 1-year period. This means DACA recipients will have to apply to renew their DACA annually. It's Hispanic Heritage Month, Latinos Stand Up, which is time where we celebrate and recognize the different contributions, cultures, and traditions from the Hispanic and Latinos communities. Makes me so proud. You guys know that I'm so proud of being Latina. So we put the call out to our community members to find out what is Hispanic Heritage Month means to you, to your company, to your team. Why are we so proud to be part of the Latino community? The Indiana Latino Expo show in Spanish will be broadcasted weekly at 11 a.m. on Telemundo, Canal 19, every Saturday beginning September 19. Throughout the month of October, Wish TV will air segments that celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, a 30-minute special primetime celebration of on Wish TV on Thursday, October 8th at 6:30 p.m. The virtual education fair will provide Indiana Spanish-speaking families with information to help them understand the U.S. education system and how to support their children to achieve their full potential throughout early education, K-12, and post-secondary education. These segments will be aired on ILE's YouTube and social media. We are accepting applications for the Axis Leadership Program until October 15. Axis is a program in partnership with the City of Indianapolis and the Indiana Latino Expo. It means so much to me. I feel like we are such a melting pot of people. We are multiracial, and I think that just makes me so proud. I love our language and the different accents in Spanish, creating content in Espanol, and now I'm doing a TV show in Spanish with Telemundo and having a segment on Wish TV. And we make it super fun. I'm really grateful with Wish TV and Telemundo. I love the work on representing a Latino organization, that we can celebrate our differences and that we can still celebrate the fact that we are the Latino community. I love when we come together. I love how family is so important to us. I love our food, our music is popping, some little bachata, salsa, cumbia, punta, vallenato, tambores, reggaeton. And I love that we really do believe that living life should be a big fiesta, a big party. Like it should be a good time with bring all the good vibes. And I'm grateful with you guys that to have a platform like this and to be able to represent my people. And I just pray that it continues to open doors for our people, that they know that they can do anything in English and in Spanish. We do it double time, and we are a huge part of America. Thank you. Gracias.